We always wonder where Tagashi is going to go with the next chapter, and hey, why not introduce a brand new card game into the world of Hunter x Hunter? This gives me flashbacks of the Greed Island arc and all of the intricacies that he created back then. And you could tell Tagashi, even with the concept of Nen in general, is the kind of guy that loves creating this kind of stuff. These sort of games with rules and intricacies and ways that people have to respond or can't respond, or characters playing mind games with one another, or lying with the truth, or manipulating somebody. It's all in the same kind of wheelhouse, and I love to see it. Even if I don't always fully understand it at first, but that's what we're getting in this chapter. And this takes us back to a group of characters that we have seen before, and I do remember them, even though I haven't read the chapter in 2 years, and I don't remember all their names, but I do remember the characters. They were introduced in the last batch of chapters that we got 2 years ago, and these are all people that I believe are alluded to be childhood friends of Cyrenik, and they were very worried about him and talking about how he was locking himself up in the room with Theta and what was going on and all that kind of stuff, and they were very, very concerned. And it was actually, I remember it being a very interesting chapter because it kind of gave us a different perspective of Cyrenik, because we've only seen really his darkest aspects, the darkest side of him and what he does behind the scenes. But we never really got an idea of how he interacts with regular people, or people that were his friends or his other bodyguards and whatnot. So it's interesting how much they care about him and how much they like him. And so bringing these characters back, I knew it was going to happen eventually, because that was a full big chapter that happened, I think like 10 or 12 chapters ago in Hunter x Hunter time, but again, 2 years in our real time. But I knew they would come back into play in some way, shape, or form. And it seems like one of them was the person that Morena was looking for, and they have been abducted. But before we get to that, we do see Hulkenberg's funeral beginning here, which some of the artwork here don't count Tagashi out, man. Some of the artwork here is very impressive. And just like the painstaking amount of time it would have taken to draw out this entire landscape and all of these citizens and everything. Very underrated Tagashi art probably in the beginning. Not that it's like the best he's ever done or anything, but considering his health issues and how long it was taking for these chapters to come out, I mean, there's a lot of intricacy kind of going on here. So yes, Morena has captured one of them. It's a character named Borkson. And for the reason, we don't really know yet. And I believe that will probably come into play in the next chapter. This chapter pretty much sets up the situation, the characters, and the rules of the game. And even though Tagashi does kind of jump all over the place with all the characters here, I kind of feel like the next chapter is going to be the card game itself, because they don't really get into it in this chapter. It's more of the exposition and the explaining of how the game works. So I'd have to imagine the next chapter is going to be like this mental mind game matchup between these two characters trying to figure out the correct way to respond. And I think I understand the game, at least to a degree, but I'm kind of one of those people that when somebody explains the rules of a game to me, I'm like gone, and like smoke comes out of my ears and I don't understand. But then about 1 or 2 rounds into the game, I pick it up really fast and then I'm good. I just played Catan for the first time, Settlers of Catan. I know it's weird, I've never played it before, but I didn't understand jack shit when they were explaining the rules to me. But then all of a sudden, like 2 rounds in, I'm like, I need brick and wood real bad. So yeah. But Morena straight up says that she wants Borkson to join them, and that she's going to ask something of her, of which we don't know the specifics yet. We don't know exactly why she was abducted. We don't know exactly what she wants from her. But we can sort of infer that it probably has something to do with Cyrenik, whether it's just to keep a closer eye on him, whether it's to get close to him. If this is actually one of his childhood friends, it would make sense that, she would be able to get in contact with him, or at least be somebody that Cyrenik would be more open to speaking to while he's in the middle of all of his Nen training. Maybe Morena wants to see how powerful he's gotten, or maybe Morena wants to take him out completely. She is causing chaos on the entire ship, and I do remember that one of the stipulations of her ability, which, by the way, I think this card game goes into her ability as well, but I'll get to that in a second. But her ability, at least, of awakening people's aura and giving them the chance to develop their own Hatsu and all that kind of stuff. If you kill a prince, that's an immediate 50 points. And I think that is like the highest level that you need in order to, activate your own Hatsu. So forgive me, I might be forgetting a little bit of the intricacy. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But if that is the case, and if she does want Serenich assassinated, well, what a gift to Borkson that would be to not only awaken her aura, but to immediately give her her own Nen ability if she goes up and kills a prince and gets an instant 50 points. How she would kill Serenich, I have no idea. I mean, we've pretty much already seen that he can survive a bullet to the head as long as his ability is activated, because he can see 10 seconds into the future or whatever it was. So, like, I don't know how, I don't know the how. Maybe she'll give him the poison, the same poison that infected Hulkenberg's body. I don't know. But, if that were the case, then it seems like this would match up pretty well, because I don't believe that Borkson has Nen so far, because she's very confused about what's going on here. And if at the end of this card game, which I suspect this card game might be a condition for Morena's ability, because to be able to kiss somebody and activate their aura, that's an extremely powerful ability. So I imagine conditions would have to be met. And again, forgive me, it's been so long since I've read those other chapters, I don't remember if it was already explained. I know that the members that she kisses have to have loyalty to her, and they have to, believe in her and love her and all that kind of stuff. But maybe the card game as an initiation or as a way to get somebody into the Hylia family, maybe this is the condition in order to get them on Morena's side, to Morena's favor. Maybe by the end of the game, Borkson will be completely loyal to Morena with whatever is happening here with Nen, and maybe that's the condition that she needs to hit in order to then kiss them, awaken their aura, and then have them go on their killing spree. Once again, I apologize. It has been like 2 years since I've read the previous chapters, so I might be missing some details here, but I feel like it would make sense. But essentially, Morena is going to play this game where they ask each other questions, and each card has an answer. But whatever the last card left in your hand is for her final question or her final request, that has to be your answer. So, the game is going to get trickier and harder as it goes along as to what answer you want to use for the earlier questions, right? So there are multiple cards here. There's answering yes, there's answering no, there's like a return card where you can get an answer to come back. There's an X card, which you can just leave and you don't have to answer anymore. And there's the Joker card that can be either or. You can use it as yes, or you can use it as no. So these are the options that she has for all of the requests and all of the questions that Morena is going to ask. So, you have to be very careful with what you choose, because whatever your last, if I understand this right, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I understand the rules right, whatever the last card you're left with is what you got to go with. So, you have to be very careful along the way. Now, she also asks Morena if she is going to lie during the game. And this is, her answer is very interesting, because she beats around the bush a lot, but this can definitely play into how this works, because she says that she is not going to lie. Ultimately, that's what she says. She says, I will not cheat, I'll just be answering from my perspective. And that can mean so many things, because everybody has a different perspective when it comes to how you view a question or how you interpret a question. So even though the question may seem direct, how you personally interpret it might be a little bit different. I mean, think about all the differences we have in life just in general. Like, how many times do I make a video where I say something as explicitly clear as I can, and then I have several comments being like, taking what I say in a completely different direction that I would have never thought about in a million years, and responding in a way that makes no sense to me. I'm like, that's not what I said at all. What are you talking about? But it all comes with perception and interpretation. Like, everybody perceives things in a different way based upon how they view the world, their life history and situation. So like, it's very, it might sound very easy to say like, oh yeah, I'm not going to lie, but in a way, it doesn't matter, because depending on how you answer or how you ask a question, somebody else might take it in a completely different way. And it seems as though the game relies on each person's perception, right? So you might not get the answer that you want based upon how they think. So in short, I don't think Morena is wrong. I actually think she's explaining this to Borkson that might not fully go through. She is saying, yeah, I won't cheat. But, you know, in history and in different cultures, and sometimes we answer yes if we are agreeing with you, even though the real answer is no. So it's going to get complicated, but I wouldn't expect any other thing from Togashi. Now, like I said, I do think my theory is going to be that this is a condition for her to use her ability. I do think by the end of the game, I think the next chapter is going to be a mind game between these two characters, or at least whenever we cut back to it. But I do think by the end of the game, Morena will win because we're going to showcase what a powerful character that she is. She's one of the main antagonists of this entire arc. So, of course, she's going to win in the end. And I think that Borkson will be brought to her side. I think at the end of the game, maybe her request will be what she wants done to Serenich. Then she will kiss her. She will activate her aura. And we might see our assassin here. Now, again, that might be a little bit too obvious, too on the nose. So because it's so obvious, Togashi will probably subvert expectations and like she won't be an assassin. Also, again, I don't know how she would assassinate Serenich just because of how powerful he is. But I do believe that she'll be brought over to her side. So this is very, very interesting stuff that is going on here. Again, we're not touching on the other stuff that's set up. We still need to see Kurapika's next Nen session. We still need to see Chrollo is going after the artifacts. There's so many things going on in this arc, obviously. Oh, also, Nobunaga and Phaeton are like on their way here. Like they're on their way to the hideout. So would it not be so fucking crazy if, like, during the end of this game, they show up and then something goes down with them? So I wouldn't count that out as well. Anyways, guys, let me know what you thought about this chapter. I thought it was very interesting. Definitely going in a direction that I was not expecting, but I do think it's fair to bring Morena back in. You know, we haven't seen her in a chapter in a while, and to reestablish why she is such a threat. And that alongside with Togashi's affinity for just making up these games and, you know, all that kind of stuff. We've seen it with Greed Island. We see it with Nen in general. So it feels a very, like, you feel the DNA of Togashi here, which I really, really love. So let me know what you think of the chapter down below. Leave all your thoughts, theories, opinions about what's going to happen. Please correct me if I'm wrong with a few things because, like I said, it's been a while since I've read the previous chapters. But let me know what you guys think. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like the video, comment. I'll talk to you next time.